already seen. Some edge is assigned weight 1, and here we are very particular that the edge weights are 1, 2, etc. n minus 1. So surely 1 is present. Now 1 is an edge weight. Let k be the weight of the edge near to 1, next to 1. Okay. So what will be the path weight of that path which contains these two edges? It will be 1 plus k, right? And now we have already seen that 1, 2, etc. n minus 1 are already edge weights. So a path must have weight more than n minus 1 to avoid repetition. If 1 plus k is something less than n minus 1, then the path joining these path with these two edges, with the edge 1 and k, will be having path weight k plus 1. So if k plus 1 is something less than or equal to n minus 1, that will create repetition, right? So k plus 1 must be greater than or equal to n. That is, k must be greater than or equal to n minus 1. Here k is an edge weight. We know that the edge weights are exactly 1, 2, etc. n minus 1. And now we are getting the edge weight k must be greater than or equal to n minus 1. So the only possibility to choose k is take k equal to n minus 1. So the edge labeled 1 can be placed near only to the edge labeled n minus 1, not anymore. So what we get from that? That is what I have written here. The edge weight 1 is adjacent only to one edge of weight n minus 1, and hence this 1 is the weight of a pendant edge in the path. So we can start with labeling the first edge as 1 and the next edge as n minus 1. Now we know that there exists another edge which is labeled 2. Let k be an edge which sits near to 2. So what will be the path weight? The path weight will be k plus 2. Again, k plus 2 cannot be 1, 2, etc. n minus 1. Those are already path weights. So it cannot be anything from 1, 2, etc. n minus 1. Now we have placed k near 1. So 1 plus k, k is n minus 1. So 1 plus n minus 1 n is again a path weight. So k plus 2 cannot be equal to n also, which means k plus 2 is greater than n, or greater than or equal to n plus 1, which again gives k greater than or equal to n minus 1. So 2 is also telling the same thing. I am a pendant edge and I will sit near to n minus 1 only. So what is the case now? One pendant edge is 1, the other pendant edge is 2, and both are very particular that only n minus 1 can sit near to them. So the only leech paths are P1, sorry, P2, P3 and P4. We cannot have more edges. So that settles the case of all leech paths. This is again proved in the first paper published by John Leech himself. The next simplest tree to handle is, of course, stars. Star means there will be one universal vertex and n vertices adjacent to this universal vertex. We denote it by K1n. So by doing some leech labeling to stars, these are having same property. So we can start with labeling any of the edges. So I start from VV1. I am labeling it as 1. Next one. Again, there is an edge labeled 2. We are sure about it. Please remove the case of the path. In case of path, the edge labels were 1, 2, etc. n minus 1. And now we have left that case and now we are handling leech star case. So it's a fresh start. Okay. So there is no restriction on the labels to be used. So, but we are sure that 1 and 2 are edge weights. So 2 is an edge weight. Again, due to symmetry, I can place it anywhere I want. So I am placing 2 as the edge weight of V1, V2. So 1 is a path weight, edge weight and hence a path weight. 2 is an edge weight and hence a path weight. any new paths? You can see that there is a path V1, V2 which is completely labeled and the path weight is 3. So we have got 1, 2 and 3. If there are no more edges, we are finished and we have a lead star. So let us assume that there are more edges. Now we have path weights from 1 to 3. To have a path of weight 4, we need to assign the value 4 to some edge. There is no other choice. Again, there is symmetry. So I'm assigning the value 4 to V1, V3. Let us check the path weights. 1, 2, 3 are already there. 4 is now introduced as an edge weight. Now V1, V3 gives me a path of weight 5. V2, V3 gives me a path of weight 6, and that is all. So here I am again with a lead tree on 4 vertices if there are no more edges to be labeled. So K13 is a lead tree. That is what we got. And if there are more edges, let us proceed. Here we are having path weights up to 6. Now we need a path of weight 7. For that, I need to assign the value 7 to some edge. Again, using symmetry, I can assign it to any edge. I'm assigning 7 to V4. Again, let us check the path weights. 1 to 6 already done. 7 is an edge weight. 7 plus 1 gives me 8. 7 plus 2 gives me 9. And 7 plus 4 gives me 11. But one path weight is missing. 10 is not there. So what we got is not a lead tree. But no problem. We have more edges. So we can continue with labeling so that let us check whether we get a lead star. So 10 is missing. To have 10, we must assign the value 10 to some edge. I'm giving it to VV5. Any problem noticed? You are all muted, I know, but just think, any problem noticed? There is an issue. V1, V5, path of weight 11. 1 plus 10 gives me a path of weight 11. But we also have a path of weight, which is a path of weight 11. So this is a repetition. But to have 10, I must label some edge with 10, and I can't do that, which means the process terminates here and we cannot and K12, which is same as P3, and then K13, the least labeling, which I have already by John Leach itself. There are no further Leach trees which are stars or which are paths. So that was two simple cases of path and that of stars. Now let us move on to some other interesting results on leech trees. The next paper, 1977, and an extended version of the same was published in 1981. The first paper is Odd Paths in an Edge-labeled tree, which was published in a mathematics magazine in 1977. And the second paper and related problems in combinatorial analysis and graph theory, which was published in a technical report by USCEE, which is an extended version of the first paper in the year 1981. In that paper, Taylor has given a result on the order of a leech tree. Let us see how he has done that. The proof is really interesting. In that paper, he calls the distance between two vertices x and y, dxy, as the path weight of xy. Please note that here by distance we mean the path weight of the path joining x and y, not the usual distance. I hope that has been noted. So dxy is the pathway of the xy path. Now start with any random vertex V you want. Let V be any vertex of your choice. Color it black. So the first vertex V is now colored black. Now, every vertex will be either at an even distance or at an odd distance from V. Color all the vertices which are at an even distance from V using black. And color all the remaining vertices which obviously will be at an odd distance with the color white. So now we have colored the entire graph, entire vertices using either black or white. Let capital B be the number of black vertices and W be the number of white vertices. Every vertex is colored either black or white, and there are n vertices in total. So B plus W will be n. So that is one result we want. So B plus W, the value of B plus W is n. Keep it there. Now, what about distance between paths having same color? Take two vertices which are colored black and consider the path joining them. There are two possibilities. Let the vertices be x and y. V is a vertex which is colored black, and the distance from x to v is even. Distance from y to v is also even. The xy path may contain v, which means that is the unique path. So the distance between x and y will be even plus even, which is again even. And there is a chance that y belongs to the xv path. Y is an intermediate vertex. In that case, xv is even, yv is also even. So the distance between x and y means the difference of two even numbers, which is again even. So if you take two black vertices, they are at even distance. Similarly, consider two white vertices. Say x and y are colored white. If V is an intermediate vertex, then as I have already explained, distance between x and y will be odd plus odd, which is even. Now, if y comes as an intermediate vertex between x and v, then again distance between x and v is odd, distance between y and v is also odd, but the distance between x and y will be their difference. So an odd number minus an odd number, which is again even. So what we got is that if two vertices are of same color, then the distance between them is even. Once again, recollect here, distance is not usual distance in graph theory, but the weight of the path joining x and y. Please don't get confused with that. Here, the distance is the path weight. Okay, so if two vertices are having same color, the path weight, or as Taylor called them, the distance between them is even. So we get odd pathways only if one end vertex is black and the other end vertex is white. That is what I have given here. Path weight of xy path is odd if and only if x and y are of opposite colors. So in how many ways I can do that? There are only B black vertices and W white vertices. I need to find a path for which one end vertex is from B black color and the other end vertex is from white color. So this can be done in B into W ways. So from that we get that the number of odd pathways is B into W. Okay. But here we are considering a leech tree. So the pathways will be exactly 1, 2, etc. NC2. So half of that will be odd and the remaining will be even. To proceed with the proof, we are splitting into two cases. NC2 can be even or odd. Say if NC2 is 15, as in the case of 6 vertices, NC2 is 15. So the number of odd paths will be 8 and number of even paths will be 7. But if NC2 is 6, both are 3, 3 equal. So I am splitting into two cases. First, I am taking the case where NC2 is even. So there will be n into n minus 1 by 4 odd paths and n into n minus 1 by 4 even paths. But we have already seen that n into n, the number of odd paths is B into W. So B into W is equal to n into n minus 1 by 4. Now we have two equations. B plus W is n and B into W is n into n minus 1 by 4. We have b plus w and we have b into w. Using that, we can compute b minus w. How we can do that? B minus w whole square is b plus w whole square minus 4 times b into w. B plus w is n, so that is n square minus b into w is n into n minus 1 by 4. Taking 4 times means that 4 gets cancelled. So it is n into n minus 1. So n square minus n into n minus 1, which cancels n square, and what we get is n. So b minus w whole square is equal to n if nC2 is even. Keep it there. Next case is nC2 is odd. Oh, I can again see some participants scribbling over the screen. If other participants are also viewing the same screen as I am, then they won't be able to read that. So please remove these scribblings. Admin, please remove these scribblings.
Ma'am, you can also erase the scribblings from the screen. I think there is some option
That rubber is
on
not
the
seen
top of the screen.
at top of the screen.
Okay. Then admin will do it. Okay, ma'am. No problem.
Okay.
Ma'am, if you have any trouble, you can do it yourself. As there will be an pen icon, an annotation icon there.
Yeah.
Can you see it?
Yeah. From that, I need to take rubber and erase, right?
Yes. Can you do it? Yes.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Fantastic. Yes, that's great, ma'am.
But to do that and to continue with the lecture will be a bit tough. Still, I'll do that. Okay, no problem.
Okay, you can disable the view participants annotation on the screen share options. You can see some of
Okay, first let me erase this, and from screen share option, what I need to do?
Disable participant annotation.
Is that from remote control? There is no option to disable participants. I need to click more. Okay, disable participants annotation, is that?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thereafter, there will be no lines.
Okay. We could have done it from the first lecture onwards. From the first lecture onwards, so many problems were there, so many scribblings were there. So thanks for that. This is a new news to me, and all participants can also learn from this. We are learning graph theory, and we are learning how to handle with online classes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
You got it.
Yeah, yes.
Thank you for that. Yeah. So coming back to least labeling, NC2 is odd. NC2 is odd case means n into n minus 1 by 2 is odd. So number of odd parts will be n into n minus 1 by 2 plus 1 divided by 2. That many odd parts will be there. On simplification, we get n square minus n plus 2 by 4. So the value of b into w in this case is n square minus n plus 2 divided by 4. And we have b plus w equal to n. Using that, we can compute. Oh, just one second. We can compute b minus w whole square using the same formula, b plus w whole square minus 4b into d. On simplification, now we will get b minus w whole square equal to n minus 2. So if NC2 is even, we have b minus w whole square is n. And if NC2 is odd, we have b minus w whole square equal to n minus 2. That is, the value of n is either b minus w whole square, or it is b minus w whole square plus 2. We have done some colorings, we have obtained some black vertices, we have obtained some white vertices. We don't know the number of black vertices or number of white vertices. Whatever it may be, b minus w whole square gives me a perfect square. And now what we have got is that n is either b minus w whole square or b minus w whole square plus 2. That is, either n is a perfect square or it is a perfect square plus 2. So now we know the order of a least tree. So will there be a least tree of order 7? We have seen least trees up to order 6. Will there be a least tree of order 7? Definitely no. 7 is not a perfect square. 7 minus 2, 5 is again not a perfect square. So the order must be either a perfect square or perfect square plus 2. So there won't be any least tree of order 7. Similarly for order 8. So next we have to look for least trees of order either 9, which is 3 square, or 11, not 10. Okay. So the thing is that that case also has been settled. There is a paper on least trees of order 9 and 11. In that paper, the authors proved that there does not exist any least tree of order 9 or order 11. So the smallest case left out to be settled is that of 16 vertices. So is there a least tree on 16 vertices is still open. And there are some algorithms available to check and to find least label and to find labelings, but not for least labeling. That can be done. The computer science people are there. You can go and find algorithms and settle the case up to some order. That is possible. But I'm not an expert in the computer side and on algorithms. We are trying for direct proofs. So next, we have seen the case of path, which are least trees. And we have also seen the case of stars, which are least trees. So we thought of extending to bistars. So what is a bistar? Bistar means in star, we have only one central vertex and the remaining are all pendant vertices made adjacent to the central vertex. Bistar means we start with an edge UV and assign pendant vertices to U and to V. So the vertex set will be something like say UV, U1, U2, etc., UM, V1, V2, etc., Vn. And the edge set will be the edge UV and the pendant edges of the form UUI and pendant edges of the form VVG. Please note that these bistars are precisely trees having diameter 3. So that is also one reason why we took bistars. The case of diameter 2 means stars, and that is already settled. The case of diameter n-1 is path, and that is also settled. So maybe the diameter concept can help in some sense to settle the conjecture, and hence we thought of moving from diameter 2 to diameter 3, 4 like that, or reducing it from n-1 and come down, or something like that. We thought of doing something like that, and that is why we took bistars, which are trees of diameter 3. So this is how a bistar looks. I hope the definition is clear to you. Try doing some least labeling. In the case of path, first what we did, we checked the to which edge the value 1 can be assigned and found that it can be assigned only to a pendant edge. In the case of stars, due to symmetry, we could start with assigning 1 to any edge we want. The same thing we are doing here. We are sure that there are edges which are labeled 1 and which was labeled 2. So let us start assigning with the label 1 to some edge. But the problem is that here complete symmetry is not there. There is some difference. The difference arises depending upon the number of pendant edges assigned to U and to V. If n is equal to m, that is number of pendant vertices assigned to made adjacent to U is equal to the number of pendant edges assigned to V, then there is some sort of a symmetry, but not that much as in the case of a star. So in bistar, even to assign 1, we have 3 different choices. Either this can be done to the central edge, that is to the edge UV, or you can assign it to a pendant edge, say UU1, or you can assign it to a pendant edge, say VV1. So 3 possibilities are there. So let us start by assigning the value 1 to the edge UV. So 1 is now assigned. Now next what we can do? We are sure that there is an edge having label 2. Here again, two cases arise. Since the number of, since n need not be equal to m, assigning 2 to a pendant edge of the form UUI and assigning 2 to a pendant edge of the form VVJ are different. So here I am assuming that I am going to assign the value 2 to the pendant edge U1. I can fix U1. It is UUI, but I can fix I as 1 due to the local symmetry. Okay, I hope that is clear. So 2 is now assigned to a pendant edge near U. So UU1 is assigned the value 2. I told that there is another case where 2 can be assigned to V1, but even though there is the symmetry condition is not there, you can just interchange U and V so that we reach the same case. So assigning 2 can also be in some sense fixed. So UV is labeled 1 and U1 is now labeled 2. And that gives me a path of weight 3 also. So now what we need is a path of weight 4. Again, two cases arises. 4 can be either in the side of U or in the side of V. We will deal that as two different cases. First, let us consider the case where 4 is assigned to U2. So UV is now assigned 1, U1 is now assigned 2, and U2 is now assigned 4. It's a simple exercise to check that now we have got all path weights up to 6. Next, what we want is 7. Again, two cases arise. 7 can be towards the side of U or towards the side of V. I'm taking the side of U first. So I'm assigning the value 7 to U3. As we have already seen, it's easy to check that this gives me pathways from 1 to 9 and then 11. The pathway 10 is missing. 1 to 9 and 11 are present here. So we need an edge to be labeled as 10. But 10 cannot be assigned. Why? If we assign 10 to the side of U, say U4 is assigned 10, then as in the case of star, we can see that 10 plus 1, 11 is there, and 7 plus 4, 11 is there, which contradicts. So 10 cannot be assigned to an edge towards the side of U. What about the side of V? The same issue arises there also, because 1 is the edge weight given to the central edge. So if we assign V1 as 10, again V1 is a path with path weight 1 plus 10, which is 11, and which makes 7 plus 4, 11, a repetition. So we cannot assign 10. So in this way, we cannot proceed. So let us try to shift our route and try to solve it. So the problem is if 7 is assigned, 10 cannot be assigned. 7 is assigned to U3, 10 cannot be assigned. No issues. Take out 7 from there. We will assign 7 to the edge V1. Now we need to recheck the pathways. 1 to 6 are already obtained from that K13 structure. 1 to 6 pathways are already obtained. 7 is here at the right end. Then 7 plus 1 gives me 8. But 9 is not a path weight. You may think that 7 is an edge label, 2 is also an edge label, so 7 plus 2 is 9. No, that is not the case, because the edges labeled 1 and 7 are UU1 and VV1, and these two edges do not give us a path. We are interested only in path weights. Is that clear? So 9 is not a path weight yet. So we need to assign the value 9 to some edge. Now you can see that the same problem will arise. If I assign 9 to UU3, then 9 plus 1, 10 is a path weight, and 7 and 2 are there towards two sides of 1, right? So 2 plus 1 plus 7 is a path weight. 2 plus 1 plus 7 again gives me 10. So 9 plus 1 is 10 and 2 plus 1 plus 7 is also 10, which contradicts, and hence 9 cannot be assigned to any edge either in the side of u or in the side of v. Even if it is in the side of v, 9 plus 1, 10 comes into picture, right? Which is equivalent to 2 plus 1 plus 7. So in this case also, we are stuck when we reach the path having weight 9. So these two cases are not possible. No problem. Let us go back and trace it again. Here we have one more case. From this point, we have one more case. We have assigned 4 towards the side of u. What about assigning 4 towards the side of v? That is also a possibility. So let us do that. So I am assigning uv with 1, uu1 with 2, and vv1 with weight 4. So you can see that the edges which are now labeled gives me P4. The labeled edges now gives me P4, and the path weights are exactly 1, 2, 3, etc. 6, which we have already verified. Now we need to assign the value 7. Again, there are two possibilities. 7 can be assigned towards the side of U or towards the side of V. I'm sorry, before that, 6 is not assigned. Say 1, 2, and 4 is towards VV1. 4 is towards VV1. So 1, 2, 1 plus 2 gives me 3. 4 is there. 4 plus 1 gives me 5. And 4 plus 1 plus 2 gives me 7, not 6. So 6 is not yet assigned. We need to assign the value 6. So try assigning it to the side of U. U2 is assigned 6, means 6 plus 1 is 7, and 2 plus 1 plus 4 is also 7, which is not possible. If we try to assign 6 towards the right side, that is towards V, the same problem comes. 6 plus 1 is a path there also, which gives me a path of weight 7, and 2 plus 1 plus 4 gives me another path of weight 7. So here we get stuck while trying to find a path of weight 6. I can see some participants are raising their hand. If it is by mistake, it's okay. We'll keep discussion towards the end. Since there are many participants, it will be a problem if we try to interact in between. If there is anything very particular, you can use chat box, and the host will take note of it if there is anything particular to be dealt with. Okay, I think that maybe they are raising their hands by mistake. I'm not sure. Okay, so 6 cannot be assigned. So that settles all cases. I tried assigning 4 towards the right or left, both are not possible. And that's all. Regarding assigning 2 towards the right, I have already explained. That is in some sense symmetric to the case where we assign 2 to U1, since we can just interchange U and V and relabel them to get the same star structure. So from that, what we get is that the only bistars are B00. B00 means only the edge UV is present. There are no pendant edges made incident either to U or to V. So the structure is K2 or P2, B00, which is a bistar. Then B11 means one pendant vertex each is assigned to both sides, which gives me P4, which we have seen as a leech tree. Then B22 means assigning 2 pendant vertices each towards both the ends, and that we have seen as the 5th leech tree in our starting slide. And then comes B10, assigning 1 pendant edge towards one end, and the other do not have any pendants attached to it, and that is nothing but P3. And then comes P20, that is assigning 2 pendant edges at one end and no pendant vertices are assigned to the towards V, and this gives me K13. So here we have got 5 Leach bistars, but they are precisely same as the Leach trees identified by John Leach. And in particular, they are the only. So the Leach tree conjecture can also be restated as these are the only bistars, or in some sense, bistars are the only Leach trees. So here we'll have a quick scan through the existing results on Leach trees. I have shown you 5 Leach trees, and I have already mentioned that these are the only 5 non-Leach trees. So all other papers are dealing with non-Leach trees. So not KNOWN, NON, non-Leach trees. That is trees which are not, which cannot be Leach labeled. We have seen that paths of length up to 4, paths of length 3, that is paths on 4 vertices. Only up to 4 are Leach trees. So from the first paper itself, we can see that Pn for n greater than 5 are not Leach trees. Similarly, in the case only up to K13 are Leach stars, the remaining are not. So K1n where n greater than 4 are not Leach trees, or in other words, non-Leach trees. These two comes from the paper by John Leach. And if we, from Taylor's paper, we can say that if we are taking a tree of order, not a perfect square or a perfect square plus 2, then they are not Leach trees. We need not go for labeling. Already from Taylor's result, we can see that they are non-Leach trees. So from order, we get something. And I already mentioned that regarding order n equal to 9 and 11, in 2005, a paper from Sestle, Wang and Zhang, they proved that there are no Leach trees of order 9 or order 11. And regarding bistars, which I had given a detailed explanation, bistars B, M, N, where either N or M is greater than 3. Less than or equal to 3, we have 5 bistars. Both N and M less than or equal to 2. I'm sorry, less than or equal to 2 gives us 5 bistars, which are all Leach trees. And if either N or M is greater than 3, then it is not a Leach tree that we have proved. And that paper is a joint work with Professor Arumugam and my research scholar Seena Verghese, that has already been published in Electronic Journal of Graph Theory and Application recently in 2020. It's a recent paper. And in that same paper, the detailed proof of which I have not given to you, but I told that we are trying to do something with the diameter of the tree. So we moved from 2 to 3 to get bistar, and paths are trees of diameter n minus 1. So we tried to reduce the diameter to n minus 2. There are so many trees with diameter n minus 2, and we were not able to settle the general case. To have a tree of diameter n minus 2, we can take a path of length n minus 2 and attach as many pendant edges as we want to any of the intermediate vertex. What we get are trees of diameter n minus 2. And we can also extend, we can also fix some trees to any of the intermediate vertex, making it sure that the diameter won't increase. So diameter n minus 2, there are so many cases. Catch hold of the central vertex and you can have as many branches as we want. There are so many, but what we looked into is we are taking a path of length n minus 2 and attaching a pendant vertex, one single pendant vertex to a support vertex. Support vertex means a vertex next to the pendant vertex. So if the path is u1, u2, etc., un minus 1, we are attaching a pendant vertex either to u2 or to un minus 2. Two support vertices are there for that path. So you can assign you can introduce a vertex which is made adjacent either to u2 or un minus 1. In that case also we worked, and we could prove that there are no Leach trees of that form, no further Leach trees of that form. Okay. So that is also in the same paper. If someone is interested in the proof, you can go through that. Detailed proof is a bit different. It's a bit difficult to explain through an online mode. We need so many diagrams, so it will take so much time for me to insert all those diagrams and explain the things. So if someone is interested, you can go through the paper and you can get back to me through email if you want. And now we are also working on another paper, which is a manuscript. And here we are working on tri-stars. Tri-stars are, here tri-star means the base will be a path of length 3, say UVW, and you can attach as many pendant vertices as you want to U, V, or W. What you get is a tri-star. That work is almost complete. We are about to communicate that paper. That is again a joint work with Professor Arumugam and Sina. That is yet to be published, and we have settled the case of tri-stars also for your information. And in the case of tri-star, the proof technique is somewhat similar to that of bi-star, but the number of cases, say, there will be an exponential growth. If we proceed like that, there will be an exponential growth. So towards bi stars or quarter stars, this technique won't work. It will be much difficult to handle it like that. For the case of tri-stars, we have settled it. So that is regarding leech trees. Now let us move to some other branch, other area. Leech is difficult. The simple cases are already been settled. So what remains is difficult. So some authors talked about some labelings which are similar to leech. We call them leech-like labelings. One is minimal distinct distance trees. Then comes modular leech trees. Then leaf leech trees and almost leech trees. So let us see what these new kinds of labelings are. The first one is minimal distinct distance trees. Minimal distinct distance trees. The name itself suggests the definition. If you are intelligent enough, you can catch from the name. Okay. Here again, we are assigning labels to the edges. Path weight means sum of values assigned to the edges. And distant tree means each path weight is different. Each path weight is distinct. It's different from each other. There is no restriction that they are precisely 1, 2, etc. in situ. The only thing is that they need to be different. This is easy to have distinct distance trees. We can say that I assign 1 and then the next label is 100, next label is 1000, next label is 10,000. If I keep on doing like that, I can be sure that no pathways are repeated. Depending upon the number of vertices of the tree, I can do that. But that is not interesting. So there is a restriction. Then comes minimal distinct tree. Try to minimize the maximum distance which comes into picture. Okay, so we need to assign values to edges. We need to check with the pathways. These pathways must be all distinct and try to minimize the maximum path weight used. We know that there are NC2 paths. So to have distinct pathways, we need the maximum distance to be at least NC2. If we attain NC2, what we actually get are precisely the leech trees, right? The path weights are all distinct and the maximum weight is NC2, means the path weights are exactly 1, 2, etc. NC2. So minimal distinct tree becomes a leech tree if that minimum distance is NC2. They denote that minimum distance for a particular value of n by m of n. Note that m of n depends upon the order of the tree. It is not defined for a single tree. Okay, if you are taking n equal to 5, what you need to do is take all trees of order 5 I'm taking order 5 because order 4 and 3 are same as that of leech trees. Okay, so take all leech trees, all trees of order n, assign them edge weights so that the path weights are all distinct. From each tree, we get a maximum distance, and the maximum among all those gives me the value of m of n for a particular n. Okay, this concept was introduced by Calhoun, Furlan, Lister, Allhill in a paper JCMCC, Journal of Computational Mathematics, Combinatorial Mathematics and Computational JCMCC. The title of the paper is Distinct Distant Trees in the year 2007. And as I have already told, if the value of m of n, if for a particular tree, if we can have a labeling in which the maximum distance is NC2, then that becomes a leech labeling. So they have connected it to leech labeling, and such trees they name as perfect distance distinct trees because it is the best possible. To have that distance as NC2 is the best possible. So if some tree attains that property, they call them perfect distance distinct trees. The value of m of n is computed up to n equal to 10 in that paper, and the case n greater than 10. The value of m of n for n greater than 10 is still an open problem. In the same paper, they have extended the concept to forest. As I have already told you, the labeling, leech labeling was defined only for trees and not for any other grass. In this paper, they have extended it to forest. Forest means union of trees. Each component is a tree. That is a forest. Okay. So the concept has been extended to forest in the same paper. Okay. The next one is modular leech tree. Here, the edge weights are chosen from ZK. Not all integers, but we are restricting ourselves to ZK. So you can use labels from 1 to K. Okay, K is same as 0. Either you can write 0 or K, your choice, no problem. So the labels will be from 1 to K or 0 to K minus 1. And while computing path weight, we are adding the labels and taking modulo with K. There lies the difference. While taking path weight, it's not just ordinary sum, but it is mod K sum we are using. And if all the path weights are distinct and are from 1 to NC2, then such trees are called ZK leech trees. Okay. Then the trees which admit ZK leech trees are called modular leech trees. This was published by Leach, but not John Leach, a different one. This is David Leach and Walsh in 2011, again in JCMCC. So here is an example. I just want to make it clear the difference between leech tree and modular leech tree. This is a tree which, as we have already seen, is not a leech tree. So I want to make it sure that there are more modular leech trees which are not leech trees. So I think the labeling is visible to all the participants. If not, please zoom by double clicking on your screen. Okay. So let us check. Here we are having a graph on 6 vertices. So the path weight must be from 1 to 15. 1 is an edge weight and hence is a path weight. 2 is again an edge weight and hence a path weight. 1 plus 2 gives me 3, but 4 is not seen, right? 4 is not an edge weight. So 4 must come into picture as a path weight. Here we need path weights from 1 to 15. So I am taking K as 16. I am taking modulus sum with k as 16. Okay. So 16 will be 0, 17 will be 1, like that. So if you can find a path of weight 20, when you take modular sum, it becomes 4, right? Can you find a path of weight 20? V3, V5 is 8 plus 12, which is 20. And when taken modular addition with 16, that becomes 4. So V3, V5 is the path of weight 4. 5 is an edge weight. 6 again an edge weight. Sorry, 6 we get as 1 plus 5. 7 as 2 plus 5 from the path V6, V3. 8 is an edge weight from V3, V4. Now we need 9. Okay, you can see that there are no numbers which add up to 9. Of course, 8 plus 1 is 9, but the edges V1, V2 and V3, V4 together don't give me a path. So that cannot be taken as a pathway. So 9 is not easily visible, but 9 is hidden. Say consider the path V2, V3, V4, V5. The sum is 5 plus 8 plus 12, which is 25. When you take modulus with 16, the remainder is 9. So the path weight of V1, V5 is 9. Now V1, V5 is 9. So what will be? V2, V5 is 9. So what will be V1, V5? We are adding 1 to that, right? So that gives me 10. Now what about V6, V5? We are adding 2 to a path of weight 9, which gives me 11. So 10 and 11 are also there. Now to 12. Where is 12? 12 is an edge weight. V4, V5 gives me 12. Now we need 13. So 8 plus 5 gives me 13. Then 8 plus 5 plus 1 gives me 14. And 8 plus 5 plus 2 gives me 15. So the pathways are exactly 1, 2, etc. 15. Do we need to check whether there are more paths? The thing is that we have now obtained pathways. We have now seen that there are paths of weight 1, 2, etc. 15. And this is a graph on 6 vertices. So there will be exactly NC2 equal to 6E2 equal to 15 paths. So we can be sure that we have investigated all paths and there are no repetitions. So this gives me a modular leech tree on 6 vertices, which is not a leech tree. So let us move further. For modular leech trees, a condition similar to that of Taylor works. This also they have published in the same paper. The order will be either a perfect square plus 2 or it will be a multiple of 4 or a multiple of 4 plus 1. So the case is a bit different here. Earlier I told that either a perfect square or perfect square plus 2. Now here we have either a multiple of 4 or a multiple of 4 plus 1 or a perfect square plus 2. This is a result regarding the order of a modular leech tree. And for n equal to 8, when the number of vertices are 8, there is only one modular leech tree. That also they have proved in the first paper itself. One may please note that on n equal to 8, there are no leech trees. 8 is not a perfect square. 8 minus 2 is also not a perfect square. So here again, we get an example of a modular leech tree, which is not a leech tree. Now, regarding leech trees, we told that definitely there will be an edge which is labeled 1. Why? Because we need a path of weight 1. To have a path of weight 1, the only way was to assign the label 1 to an edge. But in the case of modular leech trees, say if you are taking a graph on 6 vertices, we need path weights up to 15. So we will be taking the value of k as 16 as NC2 plus 1 to be more precise. I will be taking it as 16. So if there exists a path of weight 17, when we take modular sum, we get a path of weight 1. So without assigning label 1, say if I am assigning label 15 to one edge and 2 to a neighboring edge, we get 15 plus 2, 17, and 17 is equivalent to 1. So without labeling an edge using the edge weight 1, we can get a path of weight 1. So such a result does not hold for modular leaf trees. But an interesting observation is that if you are having a modular leaf tree and if you get an assignment which gives a modular leaf labeling, modular tree labeling, definitely you can find a modular labeling in which an edge is assigned label 1. This result is very good in the sense that this helps us to start the labeling process with the number 1. Okay, without losing generality, we can start modular leaf labeling also with the number 1. So that is what makes this result interesting. Next one is, extension is leaf leach trees. Leaf leach trees, here there is a difference. Here what we are doing is, there is no question of labeling. Given a tree, I can just check whether it is a leaf leach tree or not. How I do that? I find all distances between pendant vertices, that is leaves. In trees, we call the pendant vertices as leaves. So we are computing distance between two leaves. Take all possible leaves and assume that there are n leaves and compute the distance between every pair of leaves. If the distances are exactly 3, 4, etc., NC2 plus 2, then we call that tree as a leaf leach tree. Definitely you will be having one doubt. Why it is 3, 2, etc., NC2 plus 2? We were in leach trees, we were looking at 1, 2, etc., NC2. Now why 1 and 2 are eliminated? There is a definite reason for that. Okay. One is a distance between two leaves, means there are two pendant vertices and they are connected by an edge. These two are pendant vertices. So I can't draw any further edge. Okay. So distance between two pendant vertices or two leaves is 1, means the graph in which the graph for which you are looking is K2. Only K2 is there. So that is not interesting, right? So we are eliminating the path weight 1 because that won't give me any interesting result. Now, why the path weight 2 is avoided? Assume that U and V are two vertices which are at a distance 2, which means U and V have a common neighbor W. You can extend this tree from W. You cannot disturb U and V. They are pendant vertices or leaves. Leave them undisturbed. But you can extend the tree from W. But again, we are not considering 2. Why? Assume that you have extended from W and X is another pendant vertex or a leaf. What about the distance between U and X and V and X? UX path means from X, you have to come to W and then go to V, go to U. Similarly, from X to V means you have to come to W and then to V. That is, the distance between U and X will be exactly same as the distance between V and X. We need these distances to be distinct. So W cannot be, the tree cannot be extended further from the vertex W also. So the only case is P3 and hence it is not interesting. So we are looking for trees in which distance between pair of leaves are taken and these distances are exactly 3, 4, etc. in C2 plus 1. So only we are considering from 3 onwards. Okay. So here I am giving two examples to make the definition clear. In the first tree, there are three leaves or pendant vertices, namely U, V, and W. The distance between U and V, you can count, it is 3. Distance between V and W, again you can count, it is 4. And distance between U and W is 5. Here we are having 3 leaves. So n equal to 3. That is NC2 is 3. And NC2 plus 2 gives me 5. So the pathway, the weights need to be 3, 4, and 5, and which exactly matches. So this is an example of a leaf leach tree. Note that there is nothing relating directly to labeling. Okay, but this is having some relation with leach labeling. That is why I have included that also. Here you have one more example. In this case, we have 4 leaves, U, V, W, and X. Distance between U and V is 3. Then distance between W and X is 4. Distance between V and W is 5. Now, distance between U and W is 6. Between V and X, it is 7. And between U and X, it is 8. So we get 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Here, number of pendant vertices or leaves is 4. 4C2 is 6, and NC2 plus 2 is 6 plus 2, 8. So what we require was the distances to be from 3 to 8, and that is satisfied. So this is a leaf leach tree. I hope the definition is clear. Yes? Anyone want to ask something? No. Okay, it's okay. Now coming towards leaf leach trees, the properties of leaf leach trees. Leaf leach trees are say up 99% related to leach trees. The number of leaves for leach trees, we told number of vertices is either a perfect square or perfect square plus 2. But here what we have is that number of leaves will be either a perfect square or perfect square plus 2. And no star-like leaf tree with more than 4 leaves exist. That's proved, that has been proved. And caterpillar, take a path and attach pendant vertices to any intermediate vertex. What we get is a caterpillar. No leaf leach caterpillars are there with more than 4 leaves. That has also been settled. And what makes it interesting for those who are studying leach trees is that if there exists a leach tree on n vertices, we can always find a leaf leach tree. How? Take a leach tree. We are taking a leach tree means we have a leach labeling in which pathways are all distinct. Okay. So every edge is now we are taking a leach labeling. So every edge is now labeled with a number. So replace that edge with a path of that length. Okay, is that clear? Take a tree, take a leach tree, take its leach labeling, and replace each edge with a path of that length. Okay. In the resultant tree, attach pendant vertices to all the existing vertices. So none of the existing vertices are now leaves. Only the newly introduced vertices are leaves. That is, take corona with K1. The resultant graph will be a tree and it will be a leaf leach tree. So that is what makes leaf leach tree interesting for those who are studying leach trees. The converse part is to be verified, and if you get leaf leach trees, try to find a leach labeling for an underlying tree. That type of result is also interesting. So I have just explained how we can expand a leach tree to a leaf leach tree. The steps are here, which I have already explained. So the next concept is almost leech tree. From the name itself, you might have understood the definition. It is almost. It is not, but it is almost. Again, same thing we are doing. We are assigning values to the edges and we are finding all pathways. We are interested in pathways from 1 to etc. in C2 itself. But here we are giving one relaxation. One pathway can be missing. So obviously another pathway will be repeated because we are having the restriction that the pathways are from 1 to NC2 itself. So one pathway is missing and one pathway is repeated and all other pathways from 1 to NC2 are present exactly once. Okay. So this is the concept of almost leech tree. If someone is interested, that is not there in the literature, but if someone is interested, you can extend the concept of almost leech tree to modular leech tree, leaf leech tree, etc. That is almost modular leech tree, almost leaf leech tree. Like that, you can extend and you can study. Now it is not there in the literature, but if someone is interested, they can do that. Now I'll show you an example of an almost leech tree. This is K14. As we have already proved, K14 is not a leech tree. Only up to K13. Stars only up to K13 are leech. This is K14. Okay. So I have given a particular labeling using 1, 2, 3, and 7. Let us check the pathways. 1, 2, and 3 are edge weights. But you can see that 1 plus 3 is a pathway. So the number 3 is repeated. No problem. We are permitted to repeat one pathway. So 1 plus 2 is 3 and 3 itself is an edge label and hence is a pathway. Okay. Then 3 plus 1 gives me 4. 3 plus 2 gives me 5. 6 is missing. But we know that 1 can be missing and 1 can be repeated. So 6 is missing and 3 is repeated 2 times, which is again not a problem. Let us proceed further. 7 is an edge weight. 7 plus 1 is 8. 7 plus 2 gives me 9. And 7 plus 3 gives me 10. Here we are having 5 vertices, that is n is 5. So NC2 is 5 into 4 by 2, which is 10. So we need pathways from 1 to 10 in which 1 can be repeated and 1 can be absent. Here you can see 3 is repeated and 6 is absent. So this is an almost leech labeling and this makes K14 an almost leech tree. I think the definition is clear to you. As I already told, you can extend this further towards almost modular leech tree or almost leaf leech tree or anything similar. If one is interested, you can extend it even to forest. So before concluding, let me just show you the open problems about which I had already mentioned in between. The first question is, of course, does there exist any leech tree other than the 5 non-leech trees? The characterization of leech trees is the basic question, is the conjecture, but it is not easy to settle the conjecture in general. But if you can come up with a leech tree other than the already non-5 leech trees, that's interesting. You can publish a paper if you find at least one more leech tree. But please note the point, there is all chance that you are not going to get any further leech tree. These are the only 5 ones. And if we can find a restriction on the number of vertices of leech tree or on the diameter of leech tree, and from that if you can conclude that there exist only finitely many leech trees, that is interesting. Okay. I believe I'm clear. There is a result on order that either it is a perfect square or it is a perfect square plus 2, but there are infinitely many perfect squares and perfect square plus 2. So from that, we cannot conclude that there are only finitely many leech trees. But if you can find a result that if at all there exists a leech tree, the diameter will be at most say 10,000. That makes the number of leech trees finite. Clear? Or it cannot be of order say greater than 1 lakh. If you prove that like that, even though there are so many trees of order less than 1 lakh, still it is finite. Clear? So if you could prove that there exist only finitely many leech trees, then again it is interesting, and most probably there are only 5. Okay. And M of n is the number related to modular leech tree. Up to n equal to 9, this value is computed. For any value of n greater than 10, if you are able to find M of n, that is interesting. So determine the value of M of n for n greater than 10 is an open problem. For n greater than 10, even though the exact value is not known, some bounds are known. So, but if you can find a better bound than the ones which are existing, even that is interesting. Maybe you cannot find the exact value, but here you are with a bound which is better than the existing bounds, then that result will be interesting. And till date, we have found only modular leech trees of order up to 8. And for n equal to 8, there is only one modular leech tree. For n greater than 9, the problem is open, and we are not sure whether there exists any more modular leech trees, very much similar to that of leech trees. So if you can find a modular leech tree of order greater than 8, come on, we can publish a paper. Okay. So identify modular leech trees of order greater than 8 is an open problem. Now, one more thing that also I have mentioned during my lecture. Every leech tree can be extended to a leech tree, but the converse path is not proved. That is, given a leech tree, it is not always true that that is an extension of a leech tree. So that is an open question. Can you find a leech tree which is not an extension of a leech tree? There are only 5 extensions. There are only 5 leech trees, and hence there are only 5 extensions. Both the examples which I have shown you are extensions of leech trees to leech trees. Apart from that, till date, no one found any other leech tree. So does there exist any leech tree which is not an extension of a leech tree? Or can you prove that if there exists a leech tree, then it is an extension of a leech tree? If you can prove that, that is also interesting. So that's all from my side. Thank you. And the platform is open to all of you. Shahida, please take over. So I'm stopping screen sharing.
Okay. Hello, ma'am. Hello.
Yeah.
Actually, we had some technical problems and almost was solved. Okay, thank you, ma'am, for your nice presentation. It was very interesting. And this is the time for question answer discussion. Everyone, please raise your hands or put some queries in the inbox, please.
I can see Jay Lakshmi raising hand. So please unmute her.
Please. Jay Lakshmi, I can't see. Okay, ma'am.
Yeah, Mrs. Jayalakshmi can unmute themselves.
Okay. So participants can unmute yourself and speak if you want to ask something. One question scrolled up. Saida, can you just read that for me?
Sure. Some problem regarding to the network. So that in Leechcraft, any research topic is there? Please tell something like that.
Yes, there are. I have listed the open problems in my last slide. So there are plenty of openings and opportunities in leech labeling, in doing research in leech labeling and related concepts also. And one of my research scholars is working precisely on leech trees and related concepts.
Okay, I think this is a new research area, and
There is another
have a lot of.
question. Are you working on domination in leach trees? Regarding domination in leach tree is a tree. Okay. So any result on any domination parameter in general holds good for leach tree also. But definitely you can look for some bounds for the domination number of leach tree and all. But that can be done only once we are settled with which all trees are leached. Currently, we know only 5 leach trees. So with that, there is nothing to do with domination. For these trees, the domination is either 1 or 2. For this non-leach trees. Yeah.
Okay. Somebody. Okay. Here is someone asking. Mohanapriya asking about any application on leach tree labeling.
Actually, the concept was introduced by John Leach with the point in mind that graph theory is having applications in network. Okay, so if these vertices, if we are taking a tree network, and if the nodes can be identified as using the distance between the nodes, and if there is a failure in the connectivity, where the failure occurred can be computed easily using leach labeling given to this particular network. But the application side is not yet active just because of that there are only 5 leach trees. So if there are no further leach trees, such a kind of application won't be there. Actually, John Leach introduced to find fault in tree-like setup.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. There is another question from Shruti. She's asking about, is there possibility to extend this concept into fuzzy graph?
Yes, definitely there is a provision to extend it to fuzzy graphs. Actually, this labeling, as I have already told you, is only for trees. John Leach introduced the concept only for trees. So the first extension is here in our simple graphs itself. Why can't we do leach labeling for graphs? That was the first question, and we are into it. Okay. While extending the concept to graphs, the problem is that here we were utilizing the one interesting property of trees. Between any two vertices, there exists a unique path, right? But when we move on to a graph, even when we move on to a unicyclic graph, the path is not unique. So which path we will take? We will take a minimum path with minimum length or path having minimum weight. That is a question. So we need to fix that one first and then extend. Now the concept has been extended to forest and that paper has already been published, and we are now extending it to general simple graphs. After that, definitely there is a possibility to extend to multiple graphs and of course to fuzzy graphs.
Okay, ma'am. So,
but first you can look for fuzzy trees, I think. Leach for trees. So first you can look for fuzzy trees and then to fuzzy graphs.
Okay. I hope they got the point. And one question from Tamas Selvi. She's asking me about in leach graph also coloring is possible.
Leach trees are trees. So you can do whatever you want. You can color, you can dominate.
Actually, she's asked, in what way it is more advantageous to networking problems?
If there are only 5 leach trees, then leach trees are not going to help in network analysis. But definitely the extension of this concept can help. When John Leach introduced, we were expecting more leach trees, I believe. And since there are no leach trees identified till date, the application side is weak. But once when we extend it to general graphs, I think that it can be applied to find the fault in networks.
Okay, ma'am. Someone is raised to their hand. Who is that?
Bhuvaneshwari, if you want to ask something, Dr. Bhuvaneshwari, you can unmute yourself and speak if you want.
Next one, Bhuvaneshwari.
Good afternoon. Ma'am, is there the tree and leach day both are different, you know?
Sorry, please come again.
Leech tree is entirely different from tree.
Leech tree is not entirely different from tree. That forms a subclass. Leech trees are all trees. So that forms a subclass.
Okay. So we can apply the properties of trees in leech trees.
Yes, sure, you can apply.
You can apply. And matching concept can we apply on this leech tree?
You want to find the matching number of a leech tree?
Yeah.
That problems becomes interesting only if there is a big class of leech trees. As long as there are only 5 leech trees, it's not interesting. Just to find the matching number of 5 leech trees is just a child's game. So that won't be an interesting research problem.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Ma'am, hello, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay. Some other participant raised hand. Hello.
I can see a question also. Can you little explain what is the technique of proof for non-leech tree having order k square or k square plus 2? I had explained the proof in detail. If you are interested, you can contact me personally. To explain the proof again means it will take another 15 to 20 minutes. Maybe all are not interested in that. Okay, so please contact me personally.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Hello.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Ma'am, nice presentation, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, shall we apply different labelings on this leech tree, ma'am? Like graceful, we have many labelings, no, ma'am. Graceful labeling and Fibonacci labeling, like that, no, ma'am. Shall we apply?
That you can do, but since there are only 5 non-leech trees, this restricts ourselves to looking for graceful labeling on 5 trees, which is a very small class.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
But
Thank you.
definitely you can look into it. Even people are doing research on single graph. Peterson graph is just one single graph, but identifying the parameters for that is interesting. Like that, you can look for this.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Oh. Ma'am, shall we extend this leech tree, ma'am, in some more adding classes, ma'am? Is it possible, ma'am?
It is possible. We have now extended it to unicyclic graphs, and we are in the process of extending into a general graph. But that is a manuscript under preparation. That is why I didn't discuss that during the lecture.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah, well.
Okay, ma'am. There is another question. If there is any application of leech tree to energy and spectra of graph?
Sorry?
Application of leech tree to energy and spectra of graph?
No research in that direction as of now.
Okay, ma'am. There is another person raised the hand. Is it okay?
Some question is there, take more copies and is it possible to apply the labeling? It is possible. You can look into it. That is the extension of leech labeling to forest.
Okay, ma'am. There is another question from Vignesh. He's asking about, is this possible to extend this to arboreal hypographs?
Hypergraphs. Yes, it is possible to extend.
Okay.
Such a research is not there yet active, but it is possible to extend the concept to that.
Okay, ma'am. Some other question from Neddu Raman. He's asking about, in leech labeling is also possible into the labeling, all labeling to apply.
That is what ma'am was asking, and I have already answered to that.
Okay.
You can definitely look into it.
Okay. And Devsi is asking about, can you little explanation what is the technique of proof for non?
That question I have already explained it during the presentation.
Okay.
Maybe he lost connectivity in between.
Okay.
You are welcome to contact me personally, and I can send the paper to you.
Okay. And another question from Vignesh is asking about, what would be the case, ma'am, if we take copies and is it possible to apply the labeling?
Sorry, your voice was breaking. I couldn't hear you properly.
Yeah, here is some network problem in the last moment.
Uh,
What would be the case if we take more copies, and is it possible to
Yes.
apply the labeling?
Yes, it is possible to extend it like that. You find a leech tree and make copies of that leech tree and try to find leech labeling for that forest. So
Yeah.
in that direction, research is going on. And I already told you that the concept is extended to forest. So this is a particular case of extending the concept to forest.
Okay, ma'am. Somebody's asking your mail ID. I will provide it later. No
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah, I can
Okay.
type in the chat box today.
Okay.
If they want,
Okay.
it
Sure,
is
ma'am.
aparna@gmail.com.
Okay. Anyone raising their hands? No.
So
Oh,
this is
dear
my personal.
participants, please take this opportunity to clear your doubts regarding to the session.
So this is my official ID, and the other one was my personal ID. You can use anyone you want.
Okay.
Yeah, there is another question in modular leech tree, how you are fixing the value of n. It is not n, it is k. N is the number of vertices, and we are taking modular sum with k, and k is nc2 plus 1. It is nc2 plus 1 because we need path weights from 1 to etc. nc2. So if nc2 plus 1 is there, we need to make it 0. Okay. So the value of k will be nc2 plus 1.
Okay, ma'am. Someone is asking about this tree is too related to any chemical structure.
That I don't know. I think there is no study in that direction. Maybe some relations are there.
Okay. Someone is raising their hand. They're gone. And next. And some other question from Deepthi. She's asking about the total number of paths would exceed NC2 in cyclic graph. Is this the reason why it's not
Exactly.
applied?
Exactly. Very good question. Exactly. That is the problem. When we move the cycle, the number of paths is no longer NC2. Okay. Even in you can take C3, say V1, V2, V3, then V1, V2 is a path. V1, V3, V2 is also a path. Both these paths are connecting V1 and V3, and that creates issue. So that is the problem in extending the concept to even to unicyclic graphs. The number of paths we cannot determine exactly, but we have found some way to solve this issue, and we have extended the concept to that. That paper will be published soon.
Okay, ma'am. And next question is from Rajshekar. Is asking about is modular leech labeling, how you fixing the mode in?
Yeah, that question I have already answered. I think I have read
Okay,
that
sorry,
here.
ma'am.
It is
Actually, I'm
NC2
scrolling
plus
the
1.
messages and
Yeah, I understand. It's difficult to manage both. That is why I want you to read out the question.
okay.
K is
Okay,
NC2
okay,
plus
ma'am.
1.
Okay. Okay, ma'am. I think yeah, somebody asking about shortest path. Same
Shortest
Deepthi
path?
she's asking. I think she already asked some questions, and related to that, she's messaged like.
Shortest path.
Okay, no problem.
No
Okay, ma'am, no problem. Someone is raising their hands. Okay.
Hello, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Aparna, ma'am, I will contact you through mail because you have answered my 2 questions already. Just I
Sure.
want to say the feed because that day also I listened to your speech in that Mirzia.
Oh, Mariam Milzakani.
Yeah, yes, ma'am. Yeah, Mariam. And ma'am, it is a very good presentation, ma'am. Very clearly and nicely explained.
Thank you so much.
And Shagda ma'am also coordinated well all the 4 sessions. Tamil Selvan says and yesterday's session, today's all the 4 sessions were very excellent. It's really a nice one, ma'am. Organize one more things like this in graph theory. It will be good for us.
Sure, inshallah, in future.
Okay, ma'am.
Next year.
Hello. Another question. Do we have any algebraic method to label trees in different labelings?
Algebraic method to label trees in, yeah, of course there are. In graceful labeling, that is another, someone has asked me about that. There is another type of labeling called graceful labeling. And for trees to settle the problem, they have used some algebraic techniques. And as you can see, regarding proving the order of leach tree, graph theory is not at all involved in it. We are using algebraic techniques to prove that, to prove a result on the order of a graph which admits leach tree. That is what makes mathematics interesting. We are doing research on graph theory, and to get results, we are using algebra. So such interdisciplinary things makes it interesting. Definitely, you can use algebraic techniques.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. And another question from Safir is asking about, is there any relationship between leach labeling and graph domination? I think we already discussed.
Yeah, we have already discussed that.
And another question from Dr. P. Mahalakshmi, is this applicable for even labeling?
Even labeling. Maybe that is a special kind of a labeling, and I am not familiar with even labeling. If it is a labeling, definitely there will be some relation. Finding that relation is what makes the research happen. Okay, but I'm not familiar with the concept of even labeling.
Okay, ma'am. I think. Okay. Next question from Narmada Devi. She's asking me, is it leach labeling applicable for fuzzy labeling? So the
Yes,
same
you can
questions I
extend.
already.
You can
Yeah.
extend the concept to fuzzy graphs. First, look for fuzzy trees, and then you can try extending it to fuzzy graphs.
Okay. Anyway, ma'am, this is a nice presentation, and it's just
There is one more
audible
question.
and.
Is there
Okay.
any relationship between integer labeling? I believe the question was integer labeling that crawled up. Yes, you can connect these two labelings. That's the answer to that. You can connect these two labelings and think.
Next question from Nagaraj is there any common labeling? Integral sum.
That is
It's already.
question that has already been answered.
Okay.
Common
Okay.
labeling. I didn't get what you mean by that.
Yeah, that, and also some Sadiq Ali, Mr. Dr. Sadiq Ali asking about what is the reason for the term leech? I think this is the name of a scientist.
Yes, the concept was introduced by John Leach. He didn't use the term leech. He just introduced another kind of labeling problem. That was the title given to that paper. And he just introduced the concept. And from the next paper, Taylor, I think from Taylor onwards, he started calling this labeling as leech labeling just because it was introduced by John Leach. Nothing to do with leech trees.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, participants. Any queries? We have few minutes left. Please ask something if you want. Okay. Ma'am, I hope we can conclude.
Yeah, your decision. You are the host. You can conclude.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you for the nice presentation, and I'm very happy you are here because I already told you what is the reason. First, when I was working in other institution, I hosted one program, and unfortunately, I want to cancel that program. At that time, you were my one of my guests, but I was very much disappointed that time. And I think, inshallah, next time I will call upon you and Vijay Kumar sir. So I think this is my best chance. This was my best chance to get this opportunity to call both of you. Okay, anyway, thank you for your nice presentation, and dear participants, thank you all for the nice coordination and your cooperation. And first of all, I thank the authority, my organization, for giving me this opportunity through their financial supports also. From the part of my principal and our HOD, they're giving me endless help throughout this webinar. And also the technical session, my technical assistant Shahin, and also the bonsai brand, they came into this plan in the 11th hour. Anyway, they did the good job. Thank you, the team bonsai brand. And also my colleagues, they helped me a lot to make this webinar a grand success. Actually, we planned only for, as I told earlier, we planned only 250 participants, a webinar with 250 participants. But once we put the brochure and registration link on the air, within hours we got 1,000 plus application registered participants, and we are totally confused to what is next. But we again replanned, and I hope we had a facility to host 1,000 participants, but unfortunately here only near 1,100 participants was here. Anyway, I'm very happy to get this chance to organize like a webinar, and I hope in future I will do something more. Some of the participants mailed me and messaged me, "Ma'am, please make another conference like in the online conference," and they gave them to chance to present paper. And in this lockdown time, this is a best idea, I think. A few months back, we know the online sessions and online class, everything was a bitter pill to everyone. But nowadays it is common everywhere, and we don't know what is next and what is the going on here. Since the COVID outbreak is continue, it's progressing, and with this within out of box. Anyway, thank you all for cooperating with us, and thank you participant. Okay, and all participants are message me like they want to get the feedback form in each and every session. Anyway, we will provide everyone to feedback session after all the sessions, maybe tomorrow or day after tomorrow, and you can fill it and submit through your mail ID. Then only we can proceed further for your certificate and all. Okay, and all the recorded version of this webinar will be available in our Telegram group and also mail to your mail ID. Okay, thank you. Thank you. And also special thanks to Vijay Kumar sir and Tamil Selvan sir, the core parts of our webinar. I'm very happy to invited them, and for the very first moment when I called them, they are ready to coordinate with me. Thank you, sirs, and thank you, ma'am. Okay, okay, everyone, you can ask anything if you want. Ma'am, hello, ma'am.
Yes, yes, I'm here, Shahida. I'm here.
Okay.
Well done.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am, let's end up the session. Okay.
Oh, sure, we can end the session. Thank you, dear participants. Thank you all. So we can conclude in this session. Thank you all for your nice
Mr. Shahid,
coordination.
kindly end up the recording session also, and after that
Okay. Okay.
Yes, thank you. I'm gonna end it. Okay, thank you. Thank you for all
Okay.
the organization.